Hello, everyone. I am Lauren Windsor, your decluttering and organizing coach. Thank you for joining me for another episode of this special summer series for 2021. Oh my goodness. This is a series is called I Know Just the Girl. Tonight or today, whenever you're watching, I am talking to the beautiful Adrienne Steward, who is an independent Norwex consultant, and she is just the girl I would recommend if you are looking to, well, declutter in a way, your cleaning of your home and your body. Adrienne is an expert on all things detoxing your home and finding a cleaner way to live both in your home and in yourself. So welcome, Adrienne. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Most welcome. Did I get that kind of right? We're going with cleaner, really?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So, Adrienne, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the work you do. Why do you love it?
Okay, so I'm a mum of two. I've got two little ones that keep me busy. And yeah, basically I got involved with Norwex when I was pregnant with my second baby, and I often joke that, you know, I was looking for a safer way to clean my bathroom while I was pregnant because, you know, if I was waiting for my husband to clean the bathroom, I'd still be waiting, and she's now 3.5. So, so yeah, I was really looking for some sort of more natural products, or at least less toxic products to use when I was pregnant. And I came across Norwex and haven't looked back really. So I loved the products and I loved everything that the company stands for. So yeah, that was a few years ago now, and haven't looked back.
Awesome. So for those of you who don't know, I met Adrienne. We're both Yas. I think I can call myself local now. I don't know. It's been like 12 years. Local enough. Adrienne leads our local women in business, mums in business group, and she does an amazing job at that. But I've had the pleasure of seeing Adrienne's passion for the cleaner products. And one of the things that really stood out to me, like I knew that there were chemicals and like all the crap really in cleaning products, but I don't think I really grasped how bad some of them were. And are you prepared to touch a little on what that means to you?
Yeah, I guess for me, when I first started my journey, I kind of was under the assumption that if it was on the supermarket shelf, then it was already deemed safe. That it had been through all the checks and balances and that it was okay for us to be using in our homes. It turns out it's not all that highly regulated, and there are a lot of extra things in our products that we don't need, basically. And all those extras do fill out our products to bulk them up, and they're just a cheaper way of bulking up the products so that manufacturers obviously can reduce their costs a bit. But what those extras do to your body is quite scary. Some of them, you know, they sit in our system and they'll never leave our system. Others are known carcinogenics. You know, other things, they cause skin irritations, or there's, you know, eczema or asthma. It's just prolific and it's in everything. And I didn't realize how widespread it was until I started looking into it. So yeah, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, and when you say everything, you really mean everything, don't you? Like
Yeah.
It's not just the really strong smelling chemicals that you use to scrub a toilet or a shower or something. It's like your laundry detergent, or like I'm gonna
It's in your shampoo,
even like toothpaste, right?
yeah. It's stuff that, you know, like triclosan is in toothpaste or in a lot of toothpastes, and that is a known carcinogenic, and we're putting it in our mouth every day. Albeit it's a small dose, but our body doesn't have the ability to process some of these extras. So yeah, it's a foreign in our body, foreign thing, and you know, our body just can't cope with it. It's in everything. Our shampoo has silicone in it. You know, it's in your dishwashing powder or your laundry detergent. It's in the stuff that you wash your dishes on, so you're therefore consuming it when you're eating off your dishes. So yeah, it's like, without sounding a bit hippie or like a nut job or anything like that, like I don't wear a tinfoil hat or anything like that, but it's just it's important to know what you're putting in your body and make those choices for yourself, not necessarily have, manufacturers make those decisions for us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've never had you come up to me and tell me that something I'm using is wrong and bad, and
no, I mean, that's your
handing
choice.
out of tinfoil hats anywhere. But
I think it's just
about having
case
that information, isn't it, to make
that's right.
as informed as possible.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. We're often too trusting that the things available to us must therefore be okay for us. So there are people looking out for us as well, like you. So would you say that? I mean, I think for me that was something that was like, I kind of knew it, but I didn't know enough about it. Would you say that that's one of the biggest misconceptions in your industry, or do you think that there's more to it?
Yeah, I think there's been this, like the biggest thing is the products on the shelf and them being safe, but also with my industry, because I am an independent sales consultant, we don't have our products on the shelves, and there's a few reasons for that, but there's a misconception that because I'm in direct sales that it's some sort of pyramid scheme or not. It's not. Pyramid schemes are illegal for starters, but also my passion isn't about building a big team and making as much money as I can and doing all that. It's just about helping people make these small changes that I've been able to make in my own home. But some of the reasons why we're not on shop shelves is because our product is a superior product, but with that comes a bit more of a superior price tag. And there's a lot of reasons around that, but if you go to the supermarket and you look at some microfiber cloths that are $3 for a pack of 10, or you look at our EnviroCloth, which might be $30 for one, you're going to pick up the $3 one. And you might be replacing them every 3-4 weeks.
They might stack up in your cupboard for months and months and months because you buy a couple every time you go to the supermarket. I have decluttered a hell of a lot of unused microfiber cloths because people don't know what they're they don't know how to make the most of them, or they're buying them because they're cheap,
because they're on sale or something like that. So our products, they're designed to last a lot longer. They go through really rigorous testing. Pardon me. It's just about being able to show how our products work and explain the advantages. That's why they're not on the shelf in your supermarkets and that kind of thing. And also it means that I can give people the customer service that you don't get from Woolies. Like, Woolies are not going to ring you up and go, how are your cloths going? Or how's your new shampoo going? They don't care. So,
no. No, they don't. We have both worked at Woolies in one form or another, so we're laughing with knowledge.
Yeah. I think I would fall over if they were hey, how's your shopping going?
So I know what you mean. There's a lot of sometimes people are sort of put off because the brand that you're selling might be a pyramid scheme. But for you, it's like you said, it's not about growing a business. A business is wonderful, and I think that you do a great job of it. But you're not there to build the team under you. You're there to share these amazing products, and like I've said, you do it with such passion. It's really lovely to see, and I'm so glad that you were able to join me for this conversation. So, on that note, what would you like to tell a woman who is interested in changing her home or her hygiene or whatever for a cleaner living in 2021? It's something on a lot of people's minds as 2020.
I would start by looking at the products that they're currently using, and doing a bit of research about the ingredients that are in the products, and deciding for themselves whether or not they're okay with those ingredients in their products. And if they are, then that's fine. Continue using them by all means. When you know better, you can do better, and you can make informed choices. And that's what I'm all about. Yes, I can sell you a product, but I'm also here to help you make those informed choices. So definitely start small though. Don't go through your whole house and toss everything out and then just, get in all new products. It'll take time. try things, see if you like them. There's no point in buying a whole bunch of stuff if you're not going to use it. And, you know, I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me on that one. If it's just going to sit in the cupboard and you're not going to use it, don't buy it. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of space in your cupboard. You know, it's clutter.
Yeah. You're not getting healthier just by buying the other bottle, like, or you know.
No, that's right.
Be using it for it to make a difference in your life, and I love that idea of just like swap one thing out at a time. Like if you run out of a cleaner, have a look at the ingredients and see if there's a better alternative for you. Especially so, I mean, I think you would agree, like you said, there's so many different things, but something that a lot of parents, I think, notice pretty quickly is when their kids have a skin irritation. Like it's something that you can see a pretty quick difference to. You know, you can't necessarily see a build-up in your system, but you can see when you know, little Timmy's having a rash because you've changed, you know, soap or washing powder is a big one. Yeah. So looking into those and finding where is the best place for you to start is really just the next thing you need to buy. Can you make what's in there?
And I think too, there's a bit of a trend for organic products, and people think, you know, if it says that it's organic, it's going to be okay. But in terms of things like washing powder, organic just means that they don't use chemical fillers, but they still use fillers. So, you know, those fillers, you know, quite often can be things like potato skins, for example, which I would never have thought of, but I met somebody whose husband worked in a potato chip factory, and he said that's what they do. They send off all the potato skins to the laundry manufacturers, and they use that as filler for their products.
So it's a starch, really, isn't it? That makes
yeah. And there are lots of ways that you can test.
You're paying for extra of nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's like
so in Australia,
there's this many chips in the bottom and it's all air.
Yeah, that's right. And in Australia, you can pay your laundry detergents can have up to 30% filler. You're potentially paying 30% more than what you need to for your laundry detergents. And those things can cause irritations, skin irritations and whatnot. Even things like scents. I know people love that fresh, clean laundry smell, and I used to as well. I used to think if my laundry didn't smell clean that it wasn't clean. But that's not necessarily the case, and I know that now. And now I don't even walk down the laundry aisle anymore unless I have to for work. But it gives me a headache, and it's those small changes. Like I swapped out our laundry detergent, and then all of a sudden my daily headaches stopped, and you know, my skin wasn't quite as reactive to certain things. And if you think about it, your clothes are on, you know, 99% of the day, all the time. You're sleeping in your sheets. Everything gets washed in this laundry detergent on you all the time. But yeah, stuff like that people don't necessarily think about. Yeah.
And, well, you mentioned like the scent in the laundry detergent. I know, or I'm hoping and expecting quite a few Yassites or people who at least know a bit about Yass will be watching this, and we're sometimes in the news for the water quality we have here. And I'm not going to get into the politics of that because nobody has time. But there are times when the water here is just ghastly. Seriously, if you don't know, look it up. It's out there. But
yeah, we were getting around smelling like swamp monsters for a while.
Sorry?
We were all getting around smelling like swamp monsters for a while.
Yeah. Like you could get in the shower and then get out feeling dirty, and then you went in.
Yeah.
But so my point is the idea that you could wash your clothes and not have a scent added to it because it might come out smelling like Yass water.
Yeah.
That's not even the case. Like if you're using the right stuff, you still don't need that extra.
Yeah.
There's some really cool experiments if you're interested. I'm pretty sure you've still got videos on your Facebook groups of the different laundry detergents that Adrienne's tested herself. And the hands-on experiment is really interesting to see that water quality, how it changes, what's coming out of, or what is staying really in your clothes. So
And I've still got jars filled with those experiments from 2 years ago. And the thing is, like the fillers and stuff that are in your laundry detergents, they never go away. So they fill up the fibers in your clothes, and they do horrible things to our waterways and whatnot. But they never break down. And so this experiment that I did 2 years ago, it's just sitting there as sludge in the bottom of the jar. And it's really disturbing, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised I shouldn't be surprised you've held on to it. It's important to show people, but I think I'd have that like hidden away because it would just traumatize me. Especially knowing everything. You've done way more research on this than I would have, and just everything it must be hard to watch. Like, do you walk past people and like you can smell their laundry detergent? You just go,
yeah, I can. And I cringe a little bit, and I kind of just want to give them my business card and say, look, if you're interested in, maybe something a bit better for you, then let me know. But I'm not going to push it on anybody. That's their choice to make. It's one of those things. And
out there, that's what it's all about, sharing that information.
And a lot of us have we've grown up with, that fresh, clean smell and that linen smell from our mums. And, it's so ingrained in us that we have to smell fresh. My washing is clean and it doesn't have a scent other than that nice, been out, hanging out in the sun kind of clean.
Fresh air.
Yeah. So, and if you want a scent, like occasionally we've got products in our range, odor eliminators and whatnot, that are slightly scented. And it just gives that nice little whiff if you want something, if the gas water's a bit gross. So, yeah.
Yeah, I cheat a little bit. Sometimes I put a little bit of essential oil in.
Yeah.
And the tiniest little drop if you buy the good stuff. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's just for me. It makes it feel a little bit pretty.
Yeah. Plus, then I find too, like the advantage of not having scented clothes is that you're not competing when you want to wear something, like a nice perfume or whatnot. You're not flashing your smells. So, yeah, win-win.
You smell how you want, not how you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
So, I think I ask everyone this, and it's something that I think everyone sees a little bit differently. But in your clients, the people who come to you for help, where do you notice that they struggle with clutter, do you think?
So a lot of people have a lot of stuff. Like cleaning, I think is just ingrained in us that you have to have this product for this job and this product for that job and blah, 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 when really that's not necessarily the case. So, when I first started this, I went through my kitchen, like under the kitchen sink and my laundry cupboards, and I put all my chemical stuff in a box. And I was like, I'll be honest, I was skeptical at the start. I was like, okay, I'm just going to try this Norwex stuff, but I'm going to keep this other stuff in a box just in case I need it again. And it sat in a box for like 2 years in my laundry, and I eventually got rid of it. But so 90% of that stuff I hadn't touched in a few years either, so I wasn't using it anyway. And I find so many people have that problem in their houses.
Not willing to get rid of that just in case product.
Yeah, it's just in case, and it's also they've spent money on it, so they don't want to feel like they're wasting it. Sometimes they don't know how to dispose of it too, because being chemicals, you can't necessarily dispose of it just by throwing it in a bin, and you don't want to pour it down the drain, a lot of it. So yeah.
And isn't that telling too? Like if you can't pour it down the drain, why is it going on my skin? Or
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's not okay to just put in the normal garbage. Why am I brushing my teeth with it?
yeah. So I think a lot of people struggle with that in terms of that sort of clutter. Yeah. And I think, what did I write? I did write some notes. They've got a fear of sometimes like offending people too, I think. Not necessarily in terms of cleaning products, because Norwex don't just do cleaning products, but like, we've just had Christmas and you might get gifted. I used to get this a lot from certain people in my life. You know, the talcum powder or the, you know, bottles of shower stuff that you can't stand the smell of or whatever, but and you hold on to that because you feel bad about getting rid of it, because such and such gave it to you. So yeah, from that perspective, you know, it can be hard to let go, and you feel like you have to use these products up, otherwise you're being ungrateful. But yeah, I've since
somehow,
yeah. So yeah, I've learned now that that's not the case, but I think a lot of people still struggle with that.
Oh, absolutely. I talk to people at least once a week that need to work on that kind of idea. And I mean, honestly, I still have to remind myself of that kind of thing too. It's something that is ingrained in us. If it's a gift, you must keep it. And if you have it, you must use it, or it's a waste. Like throwing something out that still has a use is wasteful. It's very ingrained in us. To be completely honest with like I still have some like chemicals and stuff in my house that we use for whatever reason. Like there's still stuff, but you know, knowing what you're using and making a decision on it. And like, again, honestly, sometimes there are times when I'm just like, I just feel like this will be done better if I use the big, strong, scary stuff. And as soon as I open the bottle, I'm like, no. Nothing wrong here. But you know, the more little changes you can make, the better. And each time you try something new, you're getting a bit closer to that you know, all natural.
And look, I still have chemicals in my house too. You know, I tried going down the whole natural pathway for fly spray recently. I don't do bugs and spiders very well, so I recently encountered a rather large huntsman on my wall, and I can tell you now I'm going back to the stronger stuff, like the chemical stuff, because that thing just all it did was make it angry. So there are some things, but I'm not ingesting that stuff on a daily basis. You know, I'm not putting it on my skin. So it's just those little judgment calls of, okay, well, you know, I know that in the areas that I'm making these changes and I'm reducing my toxicity in these ways. So therefore, you know, I can use chemical products every now and then.
You've still got a net benefit. So would you consider yourself naturally organized?
Sometimes.
Good answer.
I've always on paper, yes. In practice, not always. So I could organize my day right down to the minute, but I sometimes find it hard to find the motivation to go through with it, to be honest, or the energy, or life happens and stuff gets in the way and throws all the plans out the window. So we've seen that in 2020. I mean, it's almost been pointless making plans, but I would say it's organized chaos is my life.
Everyone's. So in addition to being a mum of 2 small kids, and you've got a day job, and you run this amazing business, you also spent a large chunk of this year starting the Yass Fire Relief Centre and running several fundraising type events, and like you're still pushing forward with that kind of stuff. Like you just did a Christmas raffle with that kind of for a particular family that was like terribly affected by the fires that we had in this region this time last year. Basically it all started.
Nearly a year ago.
And to have that, and like I mentioned, you lead our or co-lead at least our local networking group. Like you have a lot of plates in the air. What are you juggling? Like small out of there, I don't know. Like you've got so much going on that you are clearly organized in that aspect. But I also know that you've struggled, like you say, with motivation for the stuff that I suppose only affects you.
And that's the tend to be the ball that I drop the most, is the stuff that affects me. Hopefully I try to keep all the other ones up in the air as best as I can, but it doesn't always work that way. And it's been a big year, particularly this year, on a personal level as well as a social level. So yeah, it's just been one of those things. I think I'm looking forward to 2021 hopefully being different. I'm a little bit scared to say that after this year, but yeah.
We're all going in with our eyes like really wide open, looking for everything.
Yeah, I think we're sort of all like peering around the corner, going, "Oh, what's next?" But I've started my diary for next year, and I've started plotting out my availability and I'm just going to hope for the best and prepare for the worst, and yeah. So.
I think a lot of us can identify with that. And yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people, women in particular, mums in particular, can identify with that. Yes, I can be organized when I have to be, but if it's on me and it's only on me, then that's the ball that gets dropped, unfortunately. So yeah,
really
I know that's something that you have worked on too. So
yeah, yeah, I think that it is the first ball that we tend to drop, but it's also the one that we should treat that like the glass ball, the one that we shouldn't be dropping, because we need to look after ourselves first. And that's a big lesson that I've learned this year. So I'm working on that a little bit, because yeah, if you can't fill from an empty cup, is the old saying. So yeah, it's just I'm going to try and reorganize my priorities for next year.
Yeah, big goals. And I think that is something that a lot of us have either learnt for the first time or have been harshly reminded of this year, that precious glass ball. Oh, so take us out on a little bit of a high, I think, Adrienne. Do you have any decluttering tips for our audience or for me?
Well, you're my guru, so not for you. But my tip for the audience would be to call you.
Because, over. Yep, thank you. Shut down.
You can pay me later. No.
Okay, you're gonna have a bonus one. What's your other tip?
I guess just don't try and tackle everything at once, because it is overwhelming, and you need some small wins on the board to sort of gain your confidence, and also just feel like you're headed in the right direction, because if you start with too much too soon, you won't see it through.
Perfect. I love that. Yeah. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Count the small wins too. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Adrienne. Thank you for joining me. We've both we had to reschedule because we've both had some crazy happening. Like you said, you can do all the planning in the world and life will happen. So it was good to finally pin each other down, and I really enjoyed this. I hope that everyone watching has got something out of this conversation, and I will have Adrienne's contacts and links and everything under this video when you watch it. Adrienne has a lovely little group on Facebook where she shares her advice and those cool experiments and that kind of thing. And through the joys of the internet, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can learn more about what Adrienne teaches. So do check her out and leave us any questions you have. One or both of us will get back to you. So
that's good. Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks, Adrienne. Thanks, everyone. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.